Hello my fellow family foodie friends, welcome back to another What's for Dinner. Tonight I am sharing with you 6 dinners that we ate over the last 7 days. So this first dinner we ended up eating for 2 dinners because if I buy all of the separate ingredients it can be kind of pricey and there's so much of it, of each item, that we end up eating this for 2 nights. So we call it snack plates, but it's like a charcuterie or meat and cheese board, and we serve it with crackers, baguette, olives, pickles, peppers, meats and cheeses, and jams. And so I just get it all prepared, get the platter set up, and then we kind of go at it barbarian style where we're all just reaching and grabbing, and my kids absolutely love this dinner. The fun thing is you can load this with lots of different foods and people only take what they like. You can see my daughters like to fill up with the olives and pickles right off the bat. Those are always gone quite early in the dinner. And just to demonstrate, happy faces from all 3 of my kids. And now we're moving on to the dinner that my husband requested of this week, steak bites and baked potatoes. Generally when I make baked potatoes, I don't actually make a side or a meat to go with it, but he really wanted both of these, so that's what I did. Steak bites is something we've been making for years. It is a recipe I found on Pinterest. I will link it below. But there's Worcestershire, there's soy sauce, lots of different seasonings, garlic, parsley, olive oil, and I marinate some steaks that I cut up overnight. And I just use a value priced steak if I can find one on sale, or if there's a special, or a meat that needs to be sold soon. I'll buy whatever's on sale or a good price. And I use my handy dandy bag holder that is linked below on Amazon, but it makes it really easy to measure my liquid ingredients, add the meat, and then get it all set to marinate overnight. So this sits overnight and makes dinner the next day really easy. And now I'm getting my potatoes ready. I won't really recommend the way that I did it because I cannot get baked potatoes to come out good for all 5 of us in my Instant Pot. So what I do is I make them in the Instant Pot because I didn't put them in the oven early enough, and then I finish them in the air fryer because I like a really crispy skin. It worked well, but it's not necessarily the method I would recommend. So make your potatoes however you like to make them, but the dinner still is a winner. And it's another dinner that we can customize. So the steak is just marinated all night, and then I just fry it up in a cast iron skillet, pretty low and slow. I make sure that it reaches the temperature that it needs to. It went well beyond 160 degrees Fahrenheit, but I always check the meat temperature to make my husband happy. My husband was pleased with this dinner, and I always like when he requests a meal and is happy with how it turns out. Baked potatoes have been a favorite for a long time, and this is a favorite of mine, Crunchwrap Supremes. If we go to Taco Bell, which isn't very often, Crunchwrap Supremes are my go-to order, and I've been making the at-home version for a couple years now. We don't make them often at all, but I had tostada shells that I wanted to use in our pantry, so we are having Crunchwrap Supremes this week, and then next week we're actually having tostadas because we still have a lot of the shells left over. So you stuff the large tortilla with cheese sauce, your meat, then a tostada shell, and then whatever vegetable toppings you want. You can add tomatoes or onions, lettuce, and then you put shredded cheese on top, and that kind of is the glue that holds it all together when you put it cheese side down on a greased pan, and you just get it nice and crispy on both sides. And I served it with some salsa and chips and grapes. Easy dinner. Everyone loved it. While it is super easy, I will type out some simple instructions down below for every single one of these recipes. So if you guys have seen grocery hauls, you know I stock up on those naan from ALDI when they go on sale. It had a $1 off sticker. I have a lot of these in my freezer, and I've been trying to work through pantry items rather than buying all of my meal ingredients every single week. I'm trying to use up some stock that I have because I have a lot. So I am making personal pan pizzas. One of my daughters does not like the naan bread, and she prefers to have a thin tortilla crust. If you saw, I am taking just the marinara sauce as our pizza sauce, and then for some of them I added sriracha so that we had a spicy marinara. Me and the girls really like the spicy sauce, and I'm not going to go into the details of every single pizza, but I'm adding toppings according to what everyone requested. I also am adding a butter here with minced garlic and just some onion powder, and then I'm putting that around the edges for a flavored crust, and then sprinkling them all with Parmesan cheese. I'm adding the fancy shredded Romano and Parmesan to my personal pizzas, and then all of them are being topped with shredded mozzarella. I really like to make personal pizzas because, for instance, my family won't eat pizza with broccoli on it, but it's my favorite pizza topping. So making the personal pan pizzas, I get exactly what I want. We had fresh mango on the side, and me and my son both had salads. No one else wanted a salad, but that was an easy dinner. Everyone was happy because they got exactly what they wanted. These chicken lettuce wraps were my personal favorite dinner of the week, and I absolutely loved having it for leftovers as well. I started off making 2 cups of rice in my Instant Pot. All you do is add your rice. I use this basmati or jasmine rice, and 2 cups of water. I don't do anything else special with it. I close the lid of my Instant Pot and hit the rice button. There is nothing else needed. You want to make sure that your lid is on seal, and it cooks perfect rice every single time. It's my favorite. That's why I have 2 Instant Pots. And then here are all of the ingredients. It is a large ingredient list for this recipe. It is linked below. It's from damndelicious.net. I love her website. She has so many wonderful recipes, and a lot of them have an Asian flair, and I love every single one of them. So I am just prepping the green onions, the water chestnuts, the garlic, the ginger, everything that I need. I'm getting it ready before I do the stir fry. I'm adding my ground chicken to some olive oil. And once it gets nice and cooked, I can add the rest of the stuff. But while it's working on browning the chicken, I am just frying up some seasoned vegetables with some sesame oil and this chili garlic sauce. I don't have a recipe for this. I just add in the oil and sauce to our taste preferences and let it simmer while the rest of the stuff is cooking. Then they'll be nice and tender. And here I am adding in onion, ginger, garlic, soy sauce, hoisin sauce, rice vinegar, my garlic. I think that is everything. But again, the exact recipe is listed below, and I did follow her recipe to a T because I have never made this before. Sriracha, I did forget that. But she makes such wonderful recipes that I don't alter hers until I've made them a few times, and even then I usually follow exactly what she does. Get ready to be impressed with perfectly fluffy rice. I always go in with a metal fork to fluff it up. That's the best way in my opinion. And I'm using my Instant Pot lid that you guys know I love just to keep it on top and keep it warm while I add the final ingredients to the chicken. here are chopped up water chestnuts and green onion. You add these right before you serve them. You don't want to cook them too long. The water chestnuts give a perfect crunch, and now I am just slicing my iceberg lettuce. You use these as your lettuce cups and you fill them with the chicken. This is a copycat recipe from P.F. Chang's, a restaurant that I've never been to, but we go to Payway every time we're in Baltimore, and Payway is like a more value-driven version of P.F. Chang's, and I love to get their chicken lettuce wraps, so I knew I had to make these at home after our last Baltimore trip. I've been craving these, and they totally hit it out of the park. I will be making these probably meal prepping for lunches. They're healthy and super delicious. And the final meal of the week is broccoli cheese soup. I have made this broccoli cheese soup I don't even know how many times. It's an exact recipe that I made up based on making different broccoli cheese recipes for years that I never really liked, and I finally made my own version. The only thing is I ran out of cheddar earlier this week, so I had to use mozzarella instead of cheddar, so it is a white soup compared to my normal yellow soup, but it actually still came out really good. So I'm going to type it out below with cheddar instead of mozzarella, but overall it works with either. And like I said, I'm trying to get through food that I have in my pantry. So I had onion, carrots, and butter sauteing. I like to use my Instant Pot as my crock pot because of the saute feature. I can get the carrots and the onions nice and soft before I do the slow cook. Then I added in milk and water, my cubed Velveeta, my broccoli, my cream of celery can of soup, and then I'm going to come in and on top I'm going to add the mozzarella, some more milk, salt and pepper. And then once it's all mixed together, I just put my handy dandy Instant Pot glass lid on top and set it for 8 hours on low. I do 8 hours just so that it keeps cooking until I come back to it, but it doesn't take 8 hours. I made this around 11 a.m. and we didn't eat until 6 p.m. so it was about 7 hours later, but it didn't need to go that long. It's just one of those recipes that really can kind of sit and hang out until you're ready to come back and eat it. I was home, so I stirred it a few times during the day, but it's not necessary. You won't ruin your recipe if you can't stir it. I just like to smell it. And I had a random broccoli shoot. I don't know what that was, but it ain't staying in my soup. We made a frozen loaf of Italian bread that I had bought on clearance at ALDI. Here my husband is slicing it with our electric knife that we love to have because we make so many crusty breads. And this was a wonderful soup to have on a chilly evening. My whole family loves to eat broccoli cheese soup. If you enjoyed this recipe, I hope you check out my other soups. I have linked 2 of them here before. One is chicken orzo and the other is tomato. Come back next week for another What's for Dinner. Thank you so much for watching. Ciao down and ciao.